Welcome back to Retro Racer. Just thought I want to do a rudimentary load test to see if the factory lifting point, or my modified version of it, can actually lift the car off the jack stand. So I've just put a straight edge up under the actual duplicated, or my version of the factory lifting point, not along the gusset because that's about 1 millimetre higher. So I've just done it under there and cast a line across with the steel rule straight edge to the chassis, which was the first repair I did. And I'll just jack it up and then we'll have a look and see how we're faring. So we're off this jack stand. I'll take you around the other side of the car in a minute and see whether we can move that block of timber under the chassis rail over there. I haven't even put the straight edge up yet for myself to have a look, so we'll do it together. A little bit hard. So just go under the actual factory lifting point, and we have zero deflection. Just try and hold that up. Yeah, that's stiff as. So doing my old tap test, it's pretty impressive. I love the sound of that. And we'll just go around the other side. I'll just pause for a moment. Now on the driver's side, we've just kicked weight over this way. So it's not a true test. It's only pushing weight over this way, so it's not lifting the true potential weight of this corner of the car. Plus we're missing probably, I don't know, say 20 kilos of suspension and running gear on this side as well. But I'm confident that that's going to work. Anyway, I'll carry on. So on the passenger side now, it's just these two little last rust repairs. I've wire wheeled that from inside the car and from underneath as well. So it looks like I'm going to replace a section there and just weld on my slide hammer and just pull that back up into shape roughly somehow. This one is not rust. It's actually a dent from the inside, or possibly the car backed up over something and it went up through the floor and then started pulling it down. I just can't imagine what that was. These little burrs here are just from the wire wheel. I'll take you underneath to show you both. So this one's, I'm just going to knock that back up and weld it. There's no rust there actually. I had to take off all the factory sound deadener. So that's that one underneath. So I'll just cut a patch to go in over that and cut that bit out, make one up the same, and try and put some of those same beads into it. Where's that other one? Oh, there's that one. That's the only thing that I can imagine, is that the car, but actually the factory sound deadener, where are we? Sorry. The factory sealant, unless somebody's, no, I would imagine, I'm just thinking out loud, that that damage must have happened from inside, because all of this was still intact. I just took it off a few minutes ago, and this certainly looks like the original sealant to me. All the previous repairs that I've seen on this car doesn't have that white stuff on it, that white rubbery stuff. It just has like a black bitumen stuff over it. So this is what I'm going to cut out, and I've just centre popped 3 sections, one there, spot welds I should say. Looking at how they were pretty consistently spaced from the factory, I think I've got them right. So I'm going to do my little 2.5 or 3 mil, or close enough to 1/8 of an inch pilot hole. I'll try and only drill through the old floor material, but it's no big deal if I go right through. and then see if they drill out as easily as the last lot that I did. This is the packet that I bought when not long after I started this repair. I'll just tip them out here. Quite a few in the pack, double-sided, threaded, so you can replace them off the arbor pretty easily. They've got the spring-loaded pin. Comes with a couple of spare pins. I don't know if there's a spring tucked into one of those somewhere. Maybe not. I'll go through my Lazada history and see if I can find the price of what I paid for these. But I'm still on the first one. I haven't even turned it around. And admittedly, I haven't used it that much. You know, I've maybe done somewhere between 20 and 50 spot welds, but I'm super impressed, especially for what I paid for them. Just coming back to it, I've just drilled about halfway or a little bit further through. So I've probably drilled into the chassis rail a little bit, but like I said, it's no big deal. And I'll show you the next step. So I very quickly did those three, and I honestly haven't touched this myself. I just drilled those three. That was the last one, and as I thought, yeah, I must be getting close to about as far as I want to go, this just popped up by itself. Looks like I've still got a little bit of something there that I didn't grind away in that valley, but this is going to come off nicely. And the upside of this is that I can get in here now and give this a bit of a wire wheel, because I've wire wheeled all of that, and that's all been wire wheeled all through there and treated with rust converter. So now I get to do this. So always remember, there's always an upside to the shitty jobs that we end up doing. There's a lot happening there. I've restored these humps just by using my various podger bar kit that I bought off eBay a couple of years ago now. Tapered at one end and got the hook on the other end. And these three actually were the right size to get me in to work my way back to tapering this down to nothing, which is not correct, but that's what I put in. But I was able to restore that just to make it look a little prettier. So you've got this bead here, then you've got the flat for welding down to the chassis, then it steps down. I've looked at the driver's side, it's the same. Steps down to this bead, which then also, you'll see in a minute, this has to curve around basically next to it. And once again, I don't know if it's something that's happened to this car in the past or whether it does indeed taper to nothing as it goes around here and comes up fairly close to this. I'll just get the old one and we'll have a look. So there's the old one, and that round bead transition appears to taper down to nothing. And once again, as I said, I don't know if that's original or whether it's been tampered with in the past. And that hump, this bead that ends as it approaches the round bead and approaches the chassis, it tapers off. And so just using my my bead roller off AliExpress and a little bit of hammering there on the railway iron just to get in there, just with the edge of my ball peen hammer, just to try and restore that, and the whole thing distorted to you know where. So but yeah, being 1.2, I just bent it back by hand. It's not pretty. I actually did this one the wrong way the first time, so but you know, I've had a couple of goes at it. That's the beauty of 250 mild steel. You can work it an awful lot without it tearing or fatiguing. Yeah, so that pretty much lines up. So I've got a little bit of extra material here and a little bit of extra material here. So what I have to do is I have to drill the plug weld holes through here, give the whole thing a clean up and a copper coat. I might continue, I have to rust convert in there, fill these three and grind them flat or sand them flat. That was all treated in there. I don't know if there's any evidence. You can see just some silver mist where I just sprayed that really cheap zinc rich silver paint in through there. So I've got to get a wire wheel in here and clean all that. So luckily I've got all those various attachments too. So I'll zinc treat all that when I've done. And hopefully we'll put this one in and start massaging it into place and tacking it in. I've said it before and I'll say it again, these drive extensions with the various wire wheels in them, especially these little pointed ones, are worth their weight in gold. You know, I could get into here and I went under basically probably about this far and the same, and so those areas have been cleaned up before and treated, so I was able to get in there really nicely, loosen off all the heavy rust right into the corners. And what I'll do next is do rust converter in there, and then I've just got a little old fan I'll put in here just to help accelerate the drying off, and that can go off whilst I'm getting the replacement panel finished, which you've already seen. That's got a really heavy coat of zinc weld through primer, which has gone both ways. What I did was spray a little, invert the can, get what I could under there, and just keep on repeating that using the when you tip the can upside down to clear the spray head. Just kept on doing that repeatedly so I could get the weld through primer right up in there, which it appears that I have. And then I went and wasted some here because that doesn't even need it. That's the underside of the floor pan. But and then as I've always said, once it's all closed in, I've got these access holes to do the 3M cavity wax treatment. Well, that's tacked in and given it a little bit of a massage here and there to get it all to line up with each other. Got a couple of gaps to fill naturally, so I'll just continue on welding that up now. The floor looks to be, from what I've measured of this part that I cut out, 0.8mm, and naturally I'm using 1.2, that's the thinnest stuff that I prefer to use, and 1mm flux cord wire. Right, I've just finished welding that in. Lots of cooling off along the way to try and keep it from warping. I'm just using my my cordless blower. Seems to work okay. Makes a bit of noise though. So pretty happy with that. I think now I'll just attack it for a little while with the finger sander. I've got about another 15 to 30 minutes left of working time, so I don't upset the neighbours. They've been very good, by the way. Nobody's ever said a word yet. Can you hear that music? That's the neighbours, sort of the side neighbour out towards the back, and the guy across I'll just show you. It's out that way behind the tool shed. There's another house there, and the neighbour from across there came over to see what all the noise was, and then he saw what I was doing and he looked and he smiled and I showed him the repairs, but then he quickly looked up and he realised that the shockingly loud music is coming from out the back even further away. So we just sort of exchanged pleasantries and wide, as you do here, especially to older people, and then I got back on with it and he left with a smile. Anyway, I'm filming this twice because I must have stopped the recording somehow. I sanded this back with my little 330mm finger sander, or mini belt sander that I purchased off AliExpress. It's an absolute weapon, does really well. But it's eating these cheap zirconia belts that I bought here domestically. Now, I have ordered some better quality ones on Lazada domestically as well, but it states that they're made in Germany. I'll put a link into the video to show those to you, and hopefully we'll get to test those out if they arrive this week and have a better run with them. There's about 2 or 3 pinholes. I've still got that silly repair to do over here. I'm not going to do any more because it's 5:20 in the afternoon. So tomorrow when I attack that, I'll do these and touch it up with the finger sander again. My method to my madness at the moment is just the cheap silver zinc spray that I've got. Whenever I clean something up, I now just give it a quick coat with that, especially if I'm going to work on it again. And the yellowy tan stuff is HB Body Pro Etch Primer in a can, and I'm very happy with that. And if I continue using their products, I can put a epoxy primer over the etch primer without any issues. So tomorrow I'll do that. I've got, because I've invested in the compressor now, I've got the gun and the regulator, water separator, air fittings, a 1.8 regular spray gun for priming, and a little 1.0mm gravity feed touch-up gun for when I do the repairs along here, etc., and any other paint repairs that will need doing on the car. I just had a look prior to pressing record on this. I think there's enough for another video now, so I'll edit all that together tonight. So I'll thank you again for joining me on the journey, getting there slowly. Thank you. Bye for now.